Yo, what's up guys? Rackals here. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. Oh my god! Dang! Yo, sure! Guys, I am so sorry about that. I cannot believe I just dropped a bomb in the middle of my intro like that. Oh my goodness. Absolute rookie mistake, really. I am so embarrassed right now. Well anyways, today we're going to be playing Hypixel Quakecraft. Now in my last gameplay video, some random guy started yelling at me in chat when I was recording, and we're keeping that streak alive because it happened again. Literally right before I started recording this, I was warming up with a few games beforehand, and once again, some random started yelling at me in the chat. Although to be fair, this time he didn't say it was my fault that he's losing, he just said it was the gun's fault. Definitely wasn't because he had less than 100 lifetime kills or anything. That would be absurd, really. I was going to say let's keep the streak going, but I guess technically nobody yelled at me in my last video because it was just a reaction. That was the one where I looked at the fastest game that had been recorded on each of the different maps for Quake. It was a lot of fun. Shoutouts to because he was definitely the MVP of that video. He has so many times. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm censoring out his name. He does not get a shout out. He still owes me a copy of Terraria. I know you're watching this. You can't just keep ignoring it. You will buy me Terraria. And so instead of him getting the shout out, I guess I'll just give it to like, I don't know, Gamerboy80 or something. Never talked to him, but he seems like a nice enough guy. And of course, now that I've given him the shout out, he's pretty much legally obligated to return the favor and now give me a shout out in his next video. And I will be dissecting his next upload frame by frame to see when he does it. Now, because this is a commentary video, I am, in fact, going to commentate the video. That's right, I'm going to talk. For some reason, this seems to come as a bit of a shock for a lot of people in the YouTube comments section. Because lately I see so many comments of people going like, oh my goodness, this guy won't stop yapping. Alternate title, you should name this 5 minutes of straight yapping. And all I have to say to that is, are you genuinely stupid? Did you click on this video expecting it to just be 5 minutes of silence? I guess I'll just never talk again in my solo commentaries, because that was clearly messed up of me. And I humbly apologize. I might have to drop a 5-page apology document. Although the problem with that is I think for the YouTube audience, typing up a document might also count as yapping. So maybe the document would just have to be 5 completely blank pages. I just really hate the term yapping because people use it constantly. You know, they're like, oh, I was yapping away with somebody. No, you were having a conversation. Am I out of my mind for saying that? You were talking to somebody. You were having a conversation with somebody. You weren't yapping. I'm not saying you can never use the word, right? It's a good word. It's just not a substitute for the word talking. And don't get me wrong, I am fine with pretty much every other slang. There's just something about yapping. Like, I will legitimately click off a video if the person in the video says it. I guess by that logic, I would have already clicked off of my own video, so that's not ideal. But I guess I really just can't help myself from yapping, huh? Honestly, this whole rant has just made me feel super old. Like when you kids were busy sucking milk out of your mama's boobies, I was busy biking uphill both ways to get to your mama's house so I could suck on your mama's boobies after you were done. Anyways, bumbling through brush, my botanical escapades continue, and the video isn't over yet, but I did just want to quickly thank you guys for the support lately. I'm coming up on 6K, which is really kind of crazy if you think about it, considering I almost exclusively upload Quake Craft, which is a game that averages like 10 players. I just wanted to say that while it was on my mind, and that's also why I wanted to say the video wasn't over yet, because a lot of the time that's the kind of thing you say in the outro. So yeah, be sure to spank that subscribe button, fondle the notification bell, stroke that like button, and while you're at it, you might as well leave a comment too. I'm replying to every single comment that I received this year, which means you'll get a response from the Rackals, which is kind of a big deal. You could probably put that in your resume, or maybe even print off my response and then frame it and stick it on your wall or something. It would be a little bit weird if you did that, but that's okay. There's a lot of other weird people out there too, excluding myself, of course. I am actually a completely regular, absolutely 100% normal person, despite what Samantha might try to tell you, if that even is her real name. And it is, I looked it up, but it's not stalking. If anybody ever tells you that I'm a stalker, don't listen to them. They're lying. Don't fall for their lies. You guys can trust me 100%. When has a Minecraft YouTuber ever done anything bad before? Think about it. Anyways, big Brobdingnagian large update news here on the Quakecraft scene. In the past few weeks, they've made a few more silent changes, which they kind of tend to do, which changes are good, I guess, but I really wish that they would say something about the fact that they're doing them, because they made a pretty big change to how dashing works. Basically, before, the optimal way to dash would be to left click at the apex of your jump so that you get the most distance. But now, for some reason, if you press left click and spacebar at the exact same time instead of left click afterwards, you literally go like twice as far and as high as you previously were able to, and it's really weird. I feel like they didn't think this through at all, because you can pretty much escape through every single map now just about, whereas before you could only really get out of bounds on a few of the maps. Overall, I do think it's a good change, and I don't necessarily want them to revert it. This now makes it so there's actually like 3 different kinds of dashing you could use. You can do this new sort of like super bounce, if you want to call it that, where you go twice as far, or the old-fashioned regular dash, which is what everyone was doing before, or the third dash, which is doing it without jumping, which makes you go only about as third as far as you could go, which means you have an extra option now for how far you want to go when you take your dash, which kind of adds another layer to the game, because on the other side of the spectrum, it's now not as easy to predict how fast or how far your enemy's going to go when they're dashing at you or coming around a corner or something like that. It's pretty cool, though I do still think that, like I said, they could have A, potentially asked the community about this change beforehand, or B, announced it somewhere. And as I've mentioned before, nowadays I pretty much only play this game to record it, which means I haven't actually experienced much real gameplay with this new dash. And so far it's kind of just been more of a distraction than anything else. I keep doing it by accident and then like bashing my head into the ceiling when I'm going through skinny tunnels and stuff, or just doing it by accident in general and accidentally going way further than I meant to. And I also find myself kind of overthinking it. Like before, you know, you would always just do the same kind of dash, whereas now every time I go to dash, I'm almost like second guessing myself, like, ooh, do I want to do a regular dash or this new super bounce type of dash? And I feel like it's kind of making me play worse in a way, but I think that'll go away with time and experience, like any change really. It's also worth noting that they made this change for the lobby railgun gadget as well, and the kinetic kit in TNT Wizards, which is pretty surprising. I guess they share the exact same code. And another change that they made is they made it so you can interact with certain objects on the map now. For some reason, you can now flip fence gates, which you couldn't do before, and you can also now click buttons. Don't know why they made this change, but I'm in support of it because it means we can actually now access an Easter egg that we literally could never do before. It's on Martian, and if I get the chance, I'll try to show it to you guys. But basically, there's one specific button on the map you can click, which pulls back a piston and reveals a sign, which is pretty cool. Like I said, there was no legitimate way to access this beforehand. And look at that, we got Martian. That is actually so perfect. Okay, I'll try to get to it, but there's probably going to be people killing me over and over. It's also worth noting that you still can't click the buttons in the pre-game before the game starts or after the game starts. Like as soon as somebody gets that 25th kill, you can no longer click buttons, which is really bizarre. Yeah, there we go. It's open. Okay, there we go. The game ended, so I can go and look at the sign. It says, "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid there's no Easter eggs," which is a reference to 2001 Space Odyssey. Pretty cool. The other week, I experienced genuinely one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. Just for some context, I'm a little bit over 6 inches, and everybody left. Okay, great. Well, now I'm done. I don't even want to tell my story.